Everywhere you go, MTN.
The headlines tonight: government to establish university for soldiers' children. Bicycle dealers appeal for a tax holiday. Nabakova directs RDCs to stop land evictions. And Uganda prepares for under-17 Ethiopian return leg.
Was brought to you by Everywhere You Go, MTN.
Good evening once again and welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu on a sign language interpretation. Now we start off with our first headlining story of the night. President Museveni, who is also the Commander-in-Chief of Uganda People's Defence Forces, has said that the Air Force has played a big role in the fight against the ADF rebels. General Museveni made the remarks at the Air Command and Leadership Training Institute in Nakasongola district, where he presented a lecture of opportunity to 62 Air Force officers who have completed a Squadron Officers Course Intake number 1 that lasted 28 weeks. The President also commissioned the institute and passed out the officers. He observed that the UPDF is providing security so that the society gets time to work for change. The President noted that the 4 principles that must be observed towards attaining prosperity of the people. He noted that the first principle to promote patriotism as a prerequisite towards getting prosperity. He paid tribute to UPDF for the job well done when it launched an attack on the ADF rebels in the eastern DR Congo on November 30th, 2021. He observed that the training of an Air Force pilot takes 35 hours at a rate of $10,000 per hour. The President noted that the Air Force pilots were currently earning 4 million shillings per month and said that this package was not sufficient. He assured them that the pay would be revised upwards as soon as the resources are available. He said that it was crucial for the officers to remain alive by taking care of themselves. He warned them against being promiscuous, adding that alcoholism was very dangerous. He warned them against stealing fuel. He congratulated the graduates for passing out and wished them good luck. He commended the Army leadership for the good job well done. The President commended the best performers for their achievements. The UPDF Air Force Commander, Lieutenant General Charles Lutaya, said that the Uganda Air Force Academy was launched in 2009. He requested the President for more training slots for the Air Force. The Commandant of the Institute, Colonel James Muhwezi, saluted President Museveni for establishing the institute. He said that the facility has got 3 schools in the same campus.
Now, I'm glad that my people are moving slowly on your remuneration. Because my guidance is that, look here, those Wanyankore, they have their proverbs. They say, Twingane yaturaha marwa.
Now, the government of Uganda is considering establishing an army university to enable children of soldiers attain free tertiary education. President Yoweri Museveni says the university will focus on productive and relevant courses to improve on the welfare of soldiers and their offspring. He was addressing soldiers at the annual Terehesita Thanksgiving service held at Kololo Independence Grounds, where he explained the rise in food prices. We have the details.
Oh, the blood of Jesus.
It was a powerful sermon held on this chosen day at Kololo Independence Grounds. Deputy Chief of Defense Forces, General Peter Eluelu, did what he loves to do best, praying.
Father, save us and country us from division. And Father, may your love descend upon us. May your love descend.
This was the 11th time the Uganda People's Defense Forces was holding this annual Terehesita Thanksgiving service. Bishop Joshua Were was the keynote speaker and the preacher of the day.
There is the sentiment of tribalism that is rising, and we want this spirit of nationalism and patriotism to be built.
He was concerned that the bravery of the freedom fighters was on the verge of extinction, hence the need for establishment of an archive center in Uganda.
I saw it in Israel when I went there. Young soldiers are taken to the training ground, and they are taken to Masada, where the Jews fought the Romans, and the 900 plus of them died in cold blood. So they are always taken there, and they are given the story, and after that, then they are commissioned as soldiers. You used to do a pre-university training in Kyankwanzi, which we think would really be very, very good to be revived.
President Yoweri Museveni, who had arrived earlier to officiate at the event, bought the idea. He was appreciative of the role that the UPDF is playing in the Democratic Republic of Congo.
We launched the operation on the 30th of November. It's now almost 5 months. Total success. We have demolished the terrorists in that area. And we have lost only 3 soldiers in all this time.
Museveni wants children of soldiers to access free education from primary to university, where only relevant courses will be offered.
Because the courses at Makerere, some of them are women's studies, conflict resolution. Please, we cannot have those courses. Let them stay in those places.
Children of soldiers under their network, Toto Wajeshi as it is dubbed, have welcomed the idea.
Really, when you look at the cosmetology, you can go anywhere around town and get that course, but these are essential courses. Talk of political science, he talked about, talk of law, talk about sciences. He really talked about things that are so beneficial to our world.
It's very good. I really welcome it warmly, because it will help our children, the children of soldiers, to at least study and get skills.
And we thank the president for being there for us and for recognizing us as Mtoto wa Jeshi.
As for the increase in the prices of goods, President Museveni has highlighted the reason.
Because of the conflicts in Europe now, between Russia and the other Europeans, some of the things can be produced here locally. Of course, for us, we have our foods here, bananas, cassava, millet. These are the ones I eat myself. I think those will be affected by the cost of fuel, transport from the village. But otherwise, they are plenty. We don't have a shortage there. My only worry are those who eat bread. Me, I don't eat bread, because I'm not a European. I eat mogo, I eat kaunga, not kaunga, the akalo. That's what I eat. I eat local. But the price of wheat is going to go up, because apparently Russia and Ukraine are the ones who produce a lot of wheat.
The theme for the 11th UPDF Tarehe Sita annual Thanksgiving service was derived from the book of Psalms, chapter 118, verses 17. I shall not die, but I shall live and recount the deeds of the Lord. Henry Okurut, UBC.
The first Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Alitwala Kadaga, has pledged to lobby government to waive taxes on bicycles. Now, this follows complaints by bicycle dealers during the launch of the electric bicycles in Jinja. The dealers urged the first Deputy Premier to intervene. Take a look.
These electronic bicycles are powered by solar and are stronger than the previous manual bicycles. The dealers under their organization, First African Bicycle Information Organization, wants to promote use of bicycles for transportation over vehicles and motorbikes.
We have tried to address the challenges of the ordinary bicycle, of using energy, of being not being able to move fast. All those questions have been answered by this e-bike. It is here on test, 100 bicycles on test to see how best it can be able to bring out results that we can use to scale it up to other countries in Africa, but also other areas within Uganda.
The initiative to promote bicycle use is a joint venture between Germany and the First African Bicycle Information Organization.
This is a perfect balance between a bicycle with its limitations in range, speed and load, and a boda which is much more expensive and which uses expensive fuel and pollutes. So here you have something that can carry up to 100 kilos, that can serve as a boda taxi, that can transport water, that is good for business and for the environment. I think that's a very convincing concept, and in Germany e-bikes are the rage.
During the launch of the electronic bicycles in Jinja, dealers decried heavy taxes imposed on the bicycles by government.
Not only this e-bike, but also the ordinary bicycle. We are, like for example, for these e-bikes, one bike costed us around 2 million. But if we added on taxes, it would go up to 3.6 million. And if that tax is maintained, then it becomes a deterrent. A bicycle is not a luxury. A bicycle is a productive tool.
The first Deputy Prime Minister, Rebecca Litwala Kadaga, pledged to lobby government to waive taxes on bicycles.
I'm really disturbed to hear that the taxes are so high. The taxes are higher than the cost. How can that be? I don't know. You know, Matia is my grandfather, so I don't try to hit him so hard. But I think this is something I've got to raise with the Minister of Finance and also with the Cabinet, because it's a policy issue. You know, how do you encourage people to ride bicycles if they can't even afford them?
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Jinja.
The Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Navakoba, has directed all resident and city commissioners across the country to effectively enforce the recent guidelines issued by President Yoweri Museveni in regards to the land evictions. Navakoba has been addressing media in Kampala this Friday afternoon.
Lands Minister Judith Navakoba has decried continued eviction of Ugandans despite an earlier presidential directive that they shouldn't.
I call upon the RDCs to be vigilant and give me evidence based on information collected on all evicted related matters.
With now powers vested into the hands of the district security committees to oversee evictions in the country, but in consultation with the Lands Ministry, Minister Navakoba guides as follows.
I have already addressed the RDCs on this matter through a meeting that was convened by the Minister for Presidency. The District Security Committee must now adjust their terms of reference to include implementing this important directive. The District Security Committee must ensure no land eviction takes place, especially on unregistered or land with tenants on it.
Resident district commissioners have been asked to ensure that their operations fall in line with the Land Act.
The RDCs who chair the District Security Committee, I want to remind them about some of their roles under the land sector. 1, to advise the Minister for Lands on all eviction-related matters reported in their respective districts. 2, to comply with implementing the presidential directive or the presidential ban on land evictions. 3, to monitor, inspect, and report on a monthly basis the land acquired by large-scale land investors in order to ensure that land being taken over is not occupied by tenants.
The presidential directive also puts the judiciary on notice of facing disciplinary actions in case of ordering any eviction, and this has attracted a wider discussion.
For a fountain of honor to request means that he's mindful of the role of judiciary. And I think he did it in good faith because of what is taking place in the country.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA has donated an assortment of equipment for repair and maintenance of water sources in selected districts of Mpigi, Gomba, Butambala, Mubende, Kasanda, Chiboga and Chankwanzi. The support, valued at about 8 billion Uganda shillings, comes at as a post-COVID-19 intervention aimed at ensuring continued access to safe and clean water.
In 2015, the United Nations developed social development goals, among which is the 6th, access to safe and clean water for all. Pursuant to this, Uganda, with support of implementing partners like Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, a number of projects aimed at scaling up access to safe and clean water, mainly in central Uganda, were introduced.
We had a facility which could accommodate up to 250 liters of water. We had 514 of those.
And in 2019, the collaboration was heightened following the outbreak of a pandemic.
That support also included water purifiers. Water purifiers were particularly targeting health centers where we have our delicate community members provided with pure drinking water.
As part of her post-COVID-19 intervention, the Japan International Cooperation Agency has pledged to venture into equipping and rehabilitation of over 300 boreholes in the districts of Mpigi, Gomba, Butambala, Chiboga, Chankwanzi, Mubende and Kasanda.
That rig is going to be mounted with a compressor and a welding machine and is going to be mobile within those areas. We have 2 additional Land Cruiser pickups that are coming that are going to be mounted with the geovisual equipment, borehole cameras to go and look down the hole into the borehole and see the components. We have water quality kits. Now we have all other components of the borehole. So totaled together over a period of 2 years, we have received a donation from the people of Japan that is totaling to 8 billion Ugandan shillings.
This preceded the signing and handover of documents signaling renewed commitment to collaborate in the struggle.
One of our biggest challenge has been maintenance. So this support comes in a very timely time when we are trying to grapple with this challenge on how to improve on our maintenance strategies.
A senior representative of Japan International Cooperation Agency in Uganda, Fukuhara Ichiro, implores benefiting districts to ensure proper and maximum utilization of the equipment.
By the way, it has been said that Japan is one of the cleanest countries in the world. Moreover, Japanese people has been deeply connected to the water in our history and custom, and that have shaped our water culture and technology.
Often at times, upon breakdown, rural water points are left to waste away due to high costs of repair and rehabilitation. But with interventions like these, wastage may remain in the past. Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
Thank you, Dorcas Kimono. Now, the Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Stephen Tanui has advised the wearing border factions in Kampala to emulate their counterparts in the taxi industry by uniting to defend their common interests. Tanui, who was in the company of Kampala North police officials, was addressing border operators in Kawempe Division led by Frank Maweje at J-Fly Hotel, Makere, Chikwani.
The Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Stephen Tenui says Minister for Kampala Transport and Security will soon come out to determine the final fate regarding the proposed controversial boda uniforms for Kampala boda operators. The cyclists' uniforms have for some time been a centre of controversy among the boda factions in Kampala, others arguing that it will enhance security, while others argue that it is a waste of time and money. Tenui and his team were today addressing the boda operators in Kawempe Division, led by Frank Maweje at J-Fly Hotel Makerere Chikoni.
So that's the uniform, the discussion. The minister will guide on the issue of uniforms.
Tenui also urged them to unite like our counterparts in the taxi industry, whom of recent have started speaking with a common voice.
But we are going to deal with it so and so. This group here, which is recognized nationally, not just bits. And that's why you are seeing they have a problem. This is Sagare which is brought up to them. It is because of leadership problems.
Frank Maweje of Kawempe and his Nakawa counterpart Rashid Kawawa expressed concern regarding those who criticize the uniform project. The boda riders have partnered with Uvraj TVS to sensitize boda operators in the whole of Kampala on road safety.
We are sensitizing our bodas to improve on their discipline and always be responsible people. So together with the team from Kawempe, we are very glad and very happy to be part of this initiative.
The boda riders still have a 4-month deadline to clean their house as ordered by the 3 ministers recently. This story was compiled by Juko Collins for UBC News.
Well, UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but I return with more stories. Don't move an inch.
MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily bundle of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 30 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 80 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 180 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Total Energies has undertaken a number of initiatives aimed at ensuring that Ugandan entities and citizens are adequately equipped to participate in the oil and gas sector. Some of these initiatives include training of heavy goods vehicle drivers.
Total Energies contracted Safer Right Way to develop skills for the drivers from Albertine region. They are accommodated free meals, free transport from here to Kampala. Everything is catered for by Total. We do train ladies as well, and as I talk right now, we have got another team of about 15 ladies in Kampala.
People are getting crashes on the way because they don't know what to do. I've got a lot of skills. I know how we should protect one another, the safety of the other road users, which wasn't the case before. And I never expected to really sit in such a truck and drive it. I'm happy and humbled to be part of this group.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
National Medical Stores is a government agency mandated to buy, store and distribute medicines and medical supplies to government health facilities in Uganda. For Ugandans that we serve, help us serve you better by taking your individual responsibilities seriously. Report theft of government medicines and medical supplies to the nearest police station or to the State House Health Monitoring Unit. Do not pay for any medicines or medical supplies labeled Government of Uganda, not for sale. Do all that is within your means to stop all preventable diseases, including COVID-19. Continue observing the Ministry of Health Standard Operating Procedures, SOPs, including wearing a face mask whenever you are in public spaces. Visit a designated health facility to receive your COVID-19 vaccination and a booster dose for those that are eligible. Prevention is better than cure. National Medical Stores, passionate about your life.
Where does it come from? That thing that makes us Ugandan. That thing that makes us different from everybody else. Where does it grow infinitely? Some say it's in our history, in our culture, and in our hearts, in our warm smiles and vast miles of coffee, dairy farmland, and amazing maize fields. It's in our inherent pursuit to always be better, to never stop growing and glowing. So you see, we are more than just a waving flag. We are a nation of sweat and skills, a nation of ideas and inventions. But what truly makes us Ugandan is our quest to improve the quality of life for Ugandans by creating sustainable jobs, businesses, and improving household incomes. That's what makes us Uganda Development Bank.
Uganda Development Bank, inspiring development.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight with me, Lauryn Kazimoto, and Muhammad Mugalu on sign language interpretation. Now, moving on, the National Water and Sewage Corporation and National Housing and Construction Company Limited have signed a 10-year memorandum of understanding to enable provision of water and sewage services to national housing estates. We have more in this report.
National Water and Sewage Corporation and National Housing and Construction Company have entered a water supply partnership. The beneficiaries of the Memorandum of Understanding include Luzira, which is expected to house 2,500, Bukoto 500, Nalia Pride 2,500, Bukelere Satellite City 30,000, and lastly Lubowa with 10,000 units.
Because you have existed for so long and we have worked together very well. Sometimes it's not good to work informally. So this development is meant to formalize the things we have been doing together. But also, because we didn't have this, whenever they developed systems and hand them over to us, it is not clear who should take over the assets, whether we can apply our water operation systems within their constructed infrastructure. But now this makes it much easier. It makes everything we do transparent.
National Housing and Construction Company will share the project master plan, building plans, and the intended water and sewage infrastructure.
Signing this MOU so that we don't flex on the street. We put up an estate. Going forward, you'll be seeing us rolling out mass estates. This MOU, I hope, is able to enable us to go countryside in the new cities and municipalities. We're also engaging, our mandate lies under Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development to make sure that we optimize land.
National Water and Sewage Corporation will undertake the design and construction of the internal water and sewage infrastructure. The two institutions shall cooperate and work together to explore opportunities to deliver water and sewage services. Sudat Kai, UBC News.
Now, government plans to conduct consultation meetings with head teachers to ensure universal primary and secondary education is free while officiating at the commissioning of St. Joseph's Buhara Seed Secondary School in Kampala District. The State Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, David Bahati, said this is to ensure that learners get value in the learning and teaching process.
Government, with support from World Bank, has constructed a seed school, St. Joseph Buhara Secondary, funded under Uganda Intergovernmental Fiscal Transfers in Kampala District. Kampala Catholic Diocese offered government land where the infrastructure was constructed, plus monitoring works. The structures that cost over 2 billion shillings have been commissioned. These include ICT laboratory, library, 5 stands VIP latrines for girls and 5 for boys, 3 unit teachers' houses and a football pitch which requires grading to be completed.
I take this opportunity to thank the government of the Republic of Uganda for this.
The head of the school was advised to cooperate with government to ensure a better teaching and learning environment for students.
Foundation school, church foundation school, please make sure that these children get godly values. They learn according to godly values, according to the Bible, so that when they grow up, then they can serve our country. And also the other thing is to be patriotic.
State Minister for Trade, Industry and Cooperatives, David Bahati, donated a solar system to the school and hailed the director of GESES Uganda Limited construction company for doing excellent work.
We shall have a secondary school per sub-county, and out of the 15 sub-counties we have in Kampala, we are only remaining with one, which also was created last year and will be catered for next year. We have a health center in every sub-county apart from 2. We also have a university, NTC, and we hope that we shall implement fully the program of UPE and USE, which should be universal and free.
The head teacher, St. Joseph's Buhara Secondary School, Grace Tumukunde, says with this infrastructure in the school, the enrollment and academic performance is going to improve.
We have science equipment, they have given us the lab, they have given us computers, they have given us chemicals and equipment. So there is no reason as to why even the results will not improve.
I'm Nafka Farida, reporting.
Plant Genetic Resource Center, which is under National Agricultural Resource Center, has started a restoration plan to recover lost indigenous tree and plant species at Botanical Gardens. Parts of the garden that are aged old were destroyed by a heavy storm, and we have more in this report.
Botanical Garden in Entebbe has existed for over 100 years and traces its roots to the colonial government. But a fortnight ago, a heavy storm threatened its existence and destroyed more than 100 trees and species. Now, a tree and plant restoration campaign spearheaded by Plant Genetic Resource Center is underway, with a lot of resources required to restore the biodiversity.
We are engaging our experts that can help us with the undertaking a thorough assessment and the costing of what we really would require to rebuild what was destroyed. But so far we have tentative estimates that are running around $400,000.
The call is for the public, including musicians like Eddie Kenzo that have recorded music videos in the area, to join the restoration campaign.
I do not think there is a single artist in this country who has not had a bit of video capturing of their events and the albums here. All of them have been around here, but right now you can't even recognize the place because it's all dismantled.
The over 40-hectare garden is home to several birds and plants, with many tourists visiting the facility to enjoy the cool breeze under the tree canopy. The garden is well known for preserving and conserving of foreign and indigenous plants.
UBC News Tonight. Kampala lawyer John Bosco has advised Ministry of Education and Sports to intervene and hold heated electoral campaigns at pre- and post-primary institutions. He was in Natete and opinioned that such lead to bias growth of youngsters that miss a key component of compassion amongst themselves.
I, Nangendo Daniela, do solemnly swear that I will serve the community.
A visit to any pre- or post-primary institution during election for leaders these days is met with heated competition that leans towards mainstream political parties. This trend has raised concern among sections of the public that call for Ministry of Education and Sports intervention.
It helps them to grow politically, it helps them to learn that you can compete and lose. But when you politicize it at that stage, there's a way it reduces a child's chance of understanding competitive politics in future, and it kind of alienates some of them from others, because if I belong to this camp, I will not associate with another person. Yet these people are still young, they need each other, they still need each other to grow, both emotionally, physically, in their co-curricular activities and everything. So it is wrong for parents, it's wrong for schools at that level to politicize politics. This idea of having posters and what, I think should be discouraged so much by the Ministry of Education. Let the children compete favorably and freely. A class monitor doesn't need to belong to any other party.
Enticements like sweets at this level should also be discouraged in order for voters to decide leaders on merit now and in the future.
We made sure that we oriented these children, we instructed them that we don't want anything to do with bribing the mind of another person using an external gift, or what you say, I'm buying you to give me a vote.
This was during the swearing-in ceremony of new leaders at Disney Junior and Daycare Foundation in Natete. John Barnes, Central, reporting.
Chambogo University, in partnership with Light for the World Uganda, has trained professional personal assistants to people living with disabilities. Now, the head of the Department of Visual Impairment Studies, Chambogo University, Dr. Odate Tunresije, says personal assistants to people living with disabilities tend to be friends. Take a look.
Professionalization of personal assistance to people living with disabilities is needed because most of them are entrusted with personal information. There are currently no standards ensuring that persons living with disabilities are treated with the dignity and respect they deserve.
So for a person with, for example, vision impairment, ought to know the skills in Braille. Braille is the reading and writing system for people who are blind. So if a personal assistant doesn't know the reading and writing system for the person whom he is guiding, when he's, for example, picking notes for the person he's guiding, he doesn't know what he's reading, it will become a challenge.
Musa Mwambu, the vision bearer of a certificate course, professional personal assistant course and disability inclusion at Light for the World, proposed a concept involving creation of a profession industry.
We were facing a challenge of no defensive guiding, where you're working with someone on the road and they don't have any professional techniques of guiding you through cars that could expose you to accidents.
Kasozi Sylvester, the executive director, Light for the World Uganda, says there have been gaps existing in support needs for people living with disabilities and more to just pushing a wheelchair.
I'm tired of these everyday things, get them wheelchairs, do this. And then somebody out of their experience, who actually happens to be a staff, thought about starting a course that would make the personal assistance of persons with disability professional, as opposed to being something that is a preserve for relatives and friends, which is actually given out of pity. As
persons living with disabilities expressed the need of professional assistance.
This person really is putting her or himself in the person with disability, thinking about that whatever he or she needs, even this person need to have it. That's the really a difference which I've seen from a person who is not trained to offer service to person with disability.
Sudat Kai, UBC News.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial *149*10# to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial *149*10*5#. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial *149*10# to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Owechitiwa Peter Maiga, the Prime Minister of Uganda, states, let us all take the necessary precautions.
Self-medication is always very dangerous. We should leave medical matters to the medical personnel. It's only a healthy population that can produce wealth. And if you want to work for your well-being, you must care about your health first.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
Your MBs are now bigger MBs only on MTN. When you load a daily band of 250 shillings, you no longer get 15 MBs, you get 30 MBs. For 500 shillings, you no longer get 40 MBs, you get 80 MBs. For 1,000 shillings, it's no longer 100 MBs, it's 180 MBs. Dial *150*10# or use the My MTN app to load bigger daily bundles only on MTN.
MTN is regulated by the Uganda Communications Commission.
Welcome back from that break, and now into some business news. Uganda Clays Limited has initiated a campaign aimed at empowering the girl child still at secondary school level. The Quality Assurance Manager, Uganda Clays, Irene Atuka Atworot, says that the Women Empowerment Project provides female students with career guidance, sex education, and life skills with an agenda of ensuring a girl child is empowered instead of equity. The head teacher at St. Andrew's College, Sunday Wakiso, applauds the company for the project, saying it is best to mitigate moral dissidence among the youth in schools.
To launch a project aimed at empowering a girl child on behavior change in secondary schools. The one-year Women Empowerment Project will benefit students with life skills, personal hygiene, career guidance and sex education training.
We are talking about empowering a woman, but the way you dress, you're inviting other people to treat you in a very negative way. Some of you have bras that are calling men to come and say something, isn't it?
During the project launch at St. Andrew's College Sunday in Wakiso, Quality Assurance Manager Uganda Clays, Irene Atuka Otorot, said women empowerment fosters economic growth.
Because an empowered girl is able to lead a family, they are able to provide, and they are able to support other girls to actually also get empowered. So that's why we are here, mainly to empower these girls and make sure that they focus on school, because when they focus on school, that means they are able to perform, they are able to pass, and then also with that passing, they are able to compete in the market.
The head teacher at St. Andrew's College, Sunday Wakiso, says the gesture helps a child to safeguard their dignity.
We want to thank Uganda Clays for thinking about the girl child and particularly training them in life skills. On many occasions, people who come up to talk about women empowerment, they emphasize women's rights. But the team from Uganda Clays has reminded us that responsibility is key if we are to empower the girl child.
I've learned how to make decisions. It's not good to portray our bodies to the outside people, for example, the boys.
This is part of the company's social responsibility in support to International Women's Day activities under the theme Breaking the Bias. All the female students received free sanitary wear for hygienic purposes. Robert Waita, Sudat Kaye, UBC News.
An intergovernmental standing committee on shipping has sat in Entebbe, Uganda, with a call on member countries to devise mechanisms of reducing traders' expenditures on shipping and logistics of cargo destined for the sister states. In a joint communique, the country representatives agreed to address policies of the multinational companies, which are a great challenge to the sister states in the east, central and southern countries.
The Minister for Works and Transport, General Katumba Wamala, wants multinational shipping companies to treat traders and cargo owners humanely.
Our countries, whether it has a coast on the coastline or whether the interior countries like Uganda, we depend on international shipping, either for export of our goods or import. But now when you don't have an organization which can speak on your behalf, those international players can put in place some very difficult and challenging either laws or restrictions.
This was during an intergovernmental standing committee on shipping that has just ended in Entebbe.
The idea behind establishing this organization was to help. At first, it was originally a 4-member state: Uganda, Tanzania, Kenya, and Zambia. The idea was the idea behind was to help those countries.
Uganda is set to address loopholes that hinder international trade, with a number of infrastructures being put up.
Like good infrastructure, road network. Like we have been saying, from today you can drive from border to border. So the goods of the countries like Burundi, Rwanda and the DRC can move very fast from the time they enter our border at Malaba or at Busia into their countries.
The Secretary General of the Intergovernmental Standing Committee on Shipping, Daniel Kiange, attended the meeting.
Member states reiterated their support to the organization, emphasizing that East Coast platform provides an avenue for attending to shipping and maritime matters of common interest and concern to the member states and the region at large.
The Minister of Transport and Logistics in the Republic of Zambia, Frank Museba Tayali, says time has come for the organization to change the approach in handling matters of global trade and shipping.
Actives must equally be able to evolve to meet the current challenges. As you are aware, and this is what I think as African countries, we have not taken advantage of the fact that those coastal countries can only claim 200 kilometers from their own shores of water. The rest is really the free sea.
South Sudan Minister of Transport and Roads, Madut Bia Yel, is the new entrant.
That South Sudan is going to join ESCOS, as we are also beneficiaries. The challenge is that the Republic of South Sudan, like in other countries in the landlocked countries, are facing, because Mombasa now is overcrowded with goods and on containers, and that is actually a problem of infrastructure.
I'm Nafka Farida, Ansetumba Douglas.
Now let's take a look and see how the Uganda shilling is faring against other currencies on the foreign market as we follow the performances of counters on the Uganda Security Exchange. Patricia Mpango with more on this report.
As we look at our financial diet for the end of week on this Friday, let us start with the Forex Market. With a 6.5% unchanged CBR, the shilling continues to weaken against the US dollar by 0.06% to trade at 3,618.74, 3,628.74, buying and selling respectively. The shilling also continues to weaken against the other currencies as we witnessed in the preview. And on the stock market, there was low price movement on most of the counters. However, there was a decline in prices on Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited and Uganda Clays Limited to trade at 26 shillings and 22.01 shillings per share respectively. Umeme traded a total of 42,800 shares at only 175 shillings per share. Stanbic Bank Uganda Limited traded 190,000 shares at only 26 shillings per share. There is anticipation that the bourse will regain momentum early next week as activity continues. For UBC News, I'm Patricia Lukomampako.
Total Energies has undertaken a number of initiatives aimed at ensuring that Ugandan entities and citizens are adequately equipped to participate in the oil and gas sector. Some of these initiatives include training of heavy goods vehicle drivers.
Total Energies contracted Safer Right Way to develop skills for the drivers from Albertine region. They are accommodated, free meals, free transport from here to Kampala. Everything's catered for by Total. We do train ladies as well, and as I talk right now, we have got another team of about 15 ladies in Kampala.
People are getting crashes on the way because they don't know what to do. I've got a lot of skills. I know how we should protect one another, the safety of the other road users, which wasn't the case before. And I never expected to really sit in such a truck and drive it. I'm happy and humbled to be part of this group.
Total Energies EP Uganda is committed to the empowerment of Ugandans to take an active part in the overall development of the oil project in Uganda.
It's Freaky Friday from Airtel. Buy or gift. Buy or give.
Get freaky too! Dial star 149 star 10 hash to load a Freaky Friday bundle for you to enjoy the best offers on voice and data.
To buy a bundle for friends and family, dial star 149 star 10 star 5 hash. Freaky Friday with Airtel. Buy or gift a bundle today. Dial star 149 star 10 hash to get started. Airtel, the smartphone network.
And now into the world of sports. On a chilly Friday morning, the Under-17 Women National Football Team has entered the residential camp at the Botanical Center in Njeru. The team is preparing for the Under-17 World Cup qualifier return leg game against Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. The two sides shared spoils, 2-2 at St. Mary's Stadium in Chitende. Uganda will look to improve its defending after leading 2-0 at the halftime. The Under-17 head coach Ayub Khalifa says the 5 days preparation before departing for Ethiopia is time enough to check the physical fitness of his players.
So far, this is the second day when we are in camp for the encounter to eliminate Ethiopia. So our coaches have put much effort in the striking line so that we can perfect on our shooting, because we need goals to eliminate Ethiopia. So we are much more prepared, and we are to eliminate Ethiopia on this round.
The return leg against Ethiopia, That's going to be on 20th. That means we have some ample time to make the corrections. Our main emphasis is actually going to be so much on attacking because where we're going we need goals, irrespective of which result, but we must score. That is what is important in all. So my emphasis is going to be on so much on scoring, shooting, and the finishing part of it. We're not going to leave aside the issue of goalkeeping because it affected us so much. We're going to put so much emphasis on goalkeeping, the movement of the goalkeepers, and also the defense. Because when you look at the goals we conceded, actually, though there was some mistake with the goalkeeper, but still the infield players had to do something, meaning they were not in the right position to defend the ball.
Well, all the best to the Ugandan team in the Ethiopian return leg. Well, UBC News Tonight has come to an end, and of course it's a Friday, but before we go, let's first take another look at tonight's headlines.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In our top stories tonight, government to establish a university for soldiers' children. Bicycle dealers appeal for a tax holiday. Nabakova directs RDCs to stop land eviction. And Uganda prepares for under-17 Ethiopian return leg.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Well, we want to thank you so much for your company this evening. Of course, do enjoy the rest of our programming right here in UBC Television. We leave you with Alex Kim Sempa to give you weather forecast for tomorrow. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu in Sign Language. We wish you a blessed night.
A warm welcome. It is time for the latest in weather from the Weather Center with the Sempa Alex Kim. Sunny intervals dominated our skies across the country, but in the afternoon, the western sector of the country received some light isolated rainfall. Now, Cyclone Gombe over the Indian Ocean has been the major influence of weather across our region, but right now it has moved over land, and because of that, we do expect it to dissipate in the near future. And when it does, we do expect a pickup of wet weather activities across our region. Tomorrow morning, we do expect to see sunny intervals across the Lake Victoria Basin, but for most of the country, it will be bright and sunny conditions. But in the afternoon, we expect sunny intervals across our skies, but for areas in the western sector of the country, some chances of rainfall. That will also include parts of the central and parts of Arua. Because of that, we do expect temperatures to be relatively high, that is across Karamoja region at 35 degrees centigrade, 29 in Kampala and 26 in Kabale Highlands. And elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting for New York falling snow at a daytime high of only 9 degrees centigrade, whereas London we do expect cloudy conditions at a daytime high of 12 degrees centigrade, and in Paris we do expect rainfall at a daytime high of 12 degrees centigrade. With that, we concluded. Stay tuned and join us again tomorrow, same time.
This weekend on UBC.
Forex trading has actually given me a life. It has given me a